Hey there folks, welcome once again to another train simulator video. As a lot of you may or may not know, this thing in front of us here, it's kind of been a wishy-washy subject as of late, and it released on the Steam store, which I made a video and posted a review on Steam, as any good train sim patron should do. And then I had to pull them down because some things were not quite right. Now, to be completely and absolutely crystal clear, as always and usual, what I try to do, this model that you see before us, the u34ch, is by DTM. It was commissioned, if you will, from Miterman, who most likely needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway just in case for those that may not be aware. Miterman is one of the best freeware route creators in the whole realm of train sim as far as like North American stuff. Just hands down. The dude built this route, which we're currently on here, just absolutely massive. Built it over the course of probably half a decade or more. It's been a long time. So he really cares about this game, and he cares about his stuff, and he cares about this route and this locomotive representing the area that he grew up in, which is this region, which is, well, west of New York City, but we'll just say New York, into Bergen County, and beyond, almost into Pennsylvania. He really cares about it. He wanted it to be in game. He's an all-around good dude. But he tried to commission a couple of people. Things didn't pan out. You know, it's train sim. Stuff happens, whatever. So he went with DTM. And initially, the NJT, or New Jersey Transit, u34ch, came out. And it was kind of crappy, just to be completely blatantly honest. And Miterman wasn't super thrilled about it, so he was like, all right, let's make a new one. Let's do the EL, this beautiful Erie Lackawanna livery here, the blue and silver and the red striping, and release that. And not only did he do that, but Miterman went a step farther. He paid to have documents, charts, all kinds of stuff about these comic coaches, you know, to acquire this stuff, to get it made as right as it possibly could be, as well as the locomotive itself. Not only that, but he went and took money out of his own pocket to go visit this thing, the last one, if I am not mistaken, the very last Bluebird, which is the nickname of the u34ch, in existence, which was in a horrible, horrible state. I don't think it is so much now, but that's not really part of the point. So anyway, he took time, a lot of time, and quite a bit of money of trying to get this thing together. And he did. He had it in a really, really good state. As such, I made a video of it well over a year ago, which I'll try to link up in the top right corner just so you can take a look if you like, of the thing that was supposed to release. And lo and behold, a few days ago, this thing pops up on the Steam marketplace, and I'm like, holy crap, it's out. I messaged Miterman. I'm like, hey, the thing's out. He's like, yeah, I know. I was like, all right. So I made a video, and it was all well and good, but I started hearing from people saying, hey, are you using mods? I'm like, no, this is the beta that I've had since before launch. This should be what you got. And it turns out it was not. What was sold on the Steam store was just the bog-ass standard NJT u34ch. Same crappy physics, same crappy sounds, and all of that. It was, we'll just say it was a fast one. Not to get too deep into certain things, a fast one seems to be pulled, you know, whether it was on behalf of the modeler or Dovetail themselves. Something happened. Something wasn't conveyed right, and it was kind of just bleh. Now, something else that went into this, not only the horn and bell, but the physics of the locomotive. That was one of the biggest things, and I know I keep talking about it because they're great. They're like some of the best North American train physics in Train Simulator, hands down. They're epic. This thing feels incredible to drive. Miterman had a big hand in that. He had that commissioned and done, and guess what? This release that happened a couple of days ago, these physics were not in this thing. This horn, this bell, none of that was in there. So a lot of people were upset, including the man himself, and including myself as well, because, you know, this kind of represented Miterman and everything he's been striving to do to get this damn thing in the game, and then it was like a complete 180. Like, what the hell happened? So anyway, a few people were not too happy about it, and a couple of people have taken it a step further, and you may be able to hear that glorious FDL chug, 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 bang, bang, bang sound. We'll just listen to it for a moment. That's what these sumbitches sound like. And these are not the default sounds. These are new sounds, aliased to this engine. So, this is effectively an enhancement pack, okay? And it is not yet available as of speaking right now, but it will be, and I will notify you guys as soon as it drops via like a community post on YouTube, and let you guys know as soon as you can go grab this thing. But you're gonna want to, because this is what this thing was meant to be. This is it. Not only are you gonna get new sounds, interior and exterior, also sounds on the coaches, you're also gonna get the physics that were meant to be on this thing from the word go, which were not. Now, I've heard that there should be a patch at some point sent to Dovetail, Q&A, all that bull caca, and eventually the NJT and the two Erie Lackawanna variants on the Steam store should be patched to all have the same sounds and physics. Not these sounds, let me be very clear, the standard DTM sounds, plus Miterman's horn and bell and Miterman's physics. But this is an enhancement pack, so if you have this thing still, you're going to want to get this pack, because this thing is incredible. I've always had a soft spot for this engine. I don't know what it is. It's a commuter train with this gigantic engine. Like, the thing is just crazy. And watching video of these things hustling through these little narrow corridors of these urban areas, it's just cool as hell. It would have been awesome to see these things IRL. So what I have here, I have one set up with some comic coaches, and as you can tell, the idle on this thing is amazeballs. Now, to be crystal clear, because I know some people are probably going to end up commenting in the comments section because they don't ever listen to a word I say, which seems like, I don't know why I make these videos sometimes. You will need, for this to work, the VRC U30C chassis locomotive add-on, and you will also need this locomotive. So it's a mod, it's an enhancement pack. You are still going to need both u34ch's that are on the Steam page, as well as the VRC U30C. Okay? I guarantee I'll still see someone asking, what do I need? This doesn't work. That's all you need. Those three things. It's essentially two, but it's three. But all right, anywho, I'm really excited about this. Anyway, let's kind of hop in here, shall we? Listen to the interior of this thing. In fact, I might need to turn the game volume down a bit. There we go. So a lot of the sounds from the VRC U30C, that's a mouthful, were alias to this thing because it's essentially the same damn locomotive. That's what these U34s were built from, is a U30. So it takes a lot of sounds from that, including like the doors slamming, like that, so on and so forth. But anyway, this is on head-in power, so that's essentially full RPM. We're going to throw it back to standby. Listen to that. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I feel sorry for you. Because that sound is just, I don't know. EMD, yeah, blah, blah. Alco, okay. But that old GE chug, there's nothing close. There's nothing close. That is a glorious, just sitting here listening to this thing idle is good enough. Now you'll notice, via the details of this enhancement pack, the person, or one of the persons that had to do with the F40, the Amtrak F40 enhancement pack that recently came out, had a lot to do with this enhancement pack. So a lot of care has been taken for, you know, sound transitions, smoothness, sound levels, things of that nature. But anyway, so this being a passenger train, we are going to use the head-in power, so it's going to be full RPM. So we'll go ahead and throw it gear here. It's still got the horn that Miterman intended it to have, along with a little air hiss, as you can hear there. Still got your bell. All right, let's go ahead and get that HEP back on. Listen to that, man. Now, I will also note that some of the sounds are being fine-tuned at the moment because Miterman and I don't want to put on blast anybody that may be working on this thing quite yet, but Miterman and the person that's been working on this thing, this enhancement pack, getting it the way it truly was, are fine-tuning some things. And Miterman's father operated these Bluebirds, these U34s in real life. So along with him and his memory and things he can recall, they're trying to tune the sounds and edit them in a way that's as close as possible. So it may change. A tiny little bit of it may change. So just an FYI there. But anyway, let's get going here. There's one notch. You can hear those fans just roaring back there. Oh my God. There's two notches. So not only were these new sounds, the engine and exhaust sounds, traction motor sounds, all the good stuff that comes with a locomotive sound set, not only were those used, but there's also some new flange squeal sounds, and the Comet coaches have got some new sounds as well. Of course, we'll check those out in due time with a little bit of speed where you can actually hear them. Give her another notch. This thing just feels so good. So good to operate. Another notch. You can hear the traction motors starting to kind of whine a little bit. Wind up. Notch 5. Got a crossing just up here. Notch 6. Seven. And the Ocho. You hear the sounds? I'm trying to be quiet. I know it may seem hard for me to do, but I'm trying to be quiet. You can hear the sounds evolving with speed. I'm not going to worry about this crossing, just to listen to the sound here. Listen to that. This thing feels oh so right now. These sounds married with the awesome physics that Miterman had done, the very, very more appropriate horn and bell, this livery. It's good. We'll go outside. Dude, the sound that thing makes has got to shake the ground you walk on. Just that rumble. Oh, forgot my headlights. Can hear the flange squeal there. All right, and we'll do a quick flyby here because I got something else lined up. It's pretty special. I'm going to be using this thing to do. We're going to get to that in just a moment here, but we'll do a quick flyby with the regular consist that these things would have pulled. Yes, we're going a bit fast. That's okay. It's for scientific purposes. Okay, moving right along. Okay, welcome to Bluebird on the weekend. These things, that's what was really cool about these things, and it's hard to find a ton of information about this. I've only ever seen a couple of photos, which is kind of what I base this consist on we have here. But these things were used for freight on the weekends when necessary. Not only did Erie Lackawanna do this as a fairly common practice, but Conrail, after they absorbed the EL, did this as well. They had some u34ch's that were not painted quite yet, and they too were known to use these. And they too, just like the EL, were known sometimes to maybe not get them back by Monday and not be full of fuel and ready to go for the commuter services as they should have. So I have this thing set up here for a little freight run. So we got just some random cars set up. Two Bluebirds here, u34ch's, Erie Lackawanna livery, of course. And reason being is this sound pack that's going to be alias to this thing, right? It's all well and good with head-in power going, but that's over 900 RPMs and it's just constant. You can't really hear this thing work in that mode. It is how it was. That's prototypical, don't get me wrong. But with freight, you can definitely hear the change. So I know this was already done in the intro, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love the sound. And I'd also like to note, a lot of you know Searchlight Simulations, of course, and Woody Anthony Wood. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had a lot to do with the sounds that went into the U30C for VRC, which these sounds come from. So, day's good. My God. That is one hell of a noise. I tell you what. All right. So, let me hop back out here for a second. What I've also done is taken the jointed rail / Searchlight Simulations freight pack and thrown it on here because, as a lot of you may know, they have excellent freaking physics. Not only do they look awesome, and they sound awesome, but they feel heavy, you know, depending on whether they're loaded or light or whatever. They just feel good. So the physics on these Bluebirds also feel good. So it's like a communion, a marriage of physics that we're going to test out here. So let's go ahead and hop in. Turn our lights on. Throw her in gear. Make sure we're lined out of here. Kind of doing that echo thing it'll do sometimes, so I just hopped in and out. Because you got two engines. When you got one engine, it doesn't happen as much. Because it's not sounds competing or echoing or whatnot. Alright, so we don't have a fairly large train here, but we do have two engines roughly. So we'll go ahead and throw the loco brake on, get rid of the train brake. We'll give her a notch and just listen to each notch paired with this locomotive. Start coming off that loco brake. There we go. Just had a little bounce. There we go. We got movement. Stretching the bars out. And she's off. Slack just caught up with us. Alright. How many cars is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20, 30. So we got like 40 cars. Alright, another notch. Looks like she's stretched out. Watch that amp gauge down there. Give her another. Another. Look at this. We're on level ground with 2 of these and about 40 some odd cars. They are loaded. We are barely moving at 4 notches. In terms of most North American stuff in Train Sim, this is unheard of. This doesn't happen. Alright, we'll give it notch 5. Six. Now this is where things get interesting. This pack, by default, you know, it is a fairly old pack. The VRC U30. It's not super old. But one of the things you'll notice, those of you that may already have it, when you get into the higher RPMs and the higher notch, the sounds kind of quiet down a little bit. Well, the sounds on this thing are slightly being altered to where you can still hear that chug, the prime mover sound, the fans, all that good stuff. So it's just been kind of remixed, one could say. Notch 7. There's your flange squeal. About to cross over the Ramapo River. Notch 8. Kill it. And we're going to brake. So this is the nice electric braking physics on this thing, plus the weight of these JR SS cars behind us. I'm going to try and do this without releasing. You got to be real quick on the keys here. There we go. God, that sound, man. I could put that in some headphones and fall asleep to it. That idle. Give her a little more juice. So once you give it suppression, right, the braking with this thing, I'm slowly getting a hang on it. As much as I've messed with this thing, that's one of the things you really got to master is the braking. So is using the keys. I am, of course, using the keyboard for the train brake. So once you get it into suppression, you're going to hold back on semicolon, and it'll go back into initial. Once it's in initial, let go of the semicolon, and then tap the semicolon real quick, and it'll go to hold/lapped, which is what we're at now. We're slowly braking. Realistically. These are not the physics that came with that thing that was released on the Steam store the other day. For whatever reason, the NJT u34ch was basically given a lick of paint and thrown up on Steam. And it should not have been. $2 miles an hour, she's slowing down. One. All right, now we're going to listen to this son of a biscuit in the Labrador mode. Hear the compressor. Dugga 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 dugga. Best impression I got. Sorry. All right, one notch. Two notch. Three. It's like dueling banjos, but with FDLs. Four. Five. Six. Seven. See, you'll note that the exhaust sound kind of drones down a little bit, and from the stuff I've not seen this engine in real life, obviously. I've seen a couple of videos. It's really hard to tell because of the age of the videos, the quality of the recording devices. But this kind of is a legit thing, if I'm not mistaken. And notch 8. Well, this is what is going to be available in the very near future. Not only the physics horn and bell, which should have released with the thing on Steam, which did not for whatever reason, is going to come with this. Of course, at the behest and will and acknowledgement of Miterman himself, because it's his scripting, it's his filage, it's his doing. So he is definitely written off on it, absolutely. And then the sounds, of course, are going to alias from, like I said, the VRC U30C, which you're going to need as well. So this is it. This is the whole kit and caboodle. This is the package, plus these awesome sounds tacked onto it. So look out for this thing. Like I said, I'll try and make a little community post thing on YouTube. Just a little note when it's available with the link, of course, and then I'll put the link back in the video as well when the thing is available. But yeah, be on the lookout for this thing. I'm super excited because this thing, you know, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in the TS community, but also there's times like this where people band together and are like, okay, you know, a certain thing may be total bullshit, and people do something about it, right? That is awesome. So, again, hats off, Miterman. This thing, well, you obviously know. You're in on it. Just tip my hat to you, good sir. But anyway, look out for this thing, guys. We'll do a run by to kind of exit the video, crawling west through New York here. But that's it. I'll see you next time, guys. Take care out there.